Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Amtrak Vacations webinar on the top 5 destinations to visit by rail. I am your host as well as train conductor, Tyler Wallinger, and I welcome you all aboard on today's virtual train journey. So if you don't mind sharing with me in the questionnaire box, everyone, just let me know where you all are joining from today. I would greatly appreciate it. I know a lot of you all are joining from many great areas around the United States. So if you don't mind sharing in the questions box in the bottom right hand corner of your screen where you all are joining from, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, thank you so much, Irene McThomas, Thousand Oaks, California, Kitty Tilford, Colorado, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, Nancy. Wonderful. Keep them coming, folks. Deborah is joining us from Texas. Perfect. Keep them coming, folks. If you don't mind sharing in the questionnaire box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen where you all are joining from today, I would greatly appreciate it. Philip Major joining us from Tampa Bay. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. All right, folks. So as you continue to pour in your responses, welcome aboard. So what we'll be covering in today's presentation is what is it like traveling by train? So all of us are probably wondering what the concept of rail travel is like. So we'll get, of course, that in detail today in today's presentation. We'll talk about the top destinations to visit by rail for this year, or maybe possibly planning for next year, routing your rail journey from your hometown, and our limited time special offers. So again, folks, this is a great opportunity for you to not only save money, but be able to also use it to get the best value for your vacation. Now, for those of you who joined us for the first time, I want to just talk very briefly about our two distinct Yankee Leisure Group brands. So Yankee Leisure Group actually owns both Amtrak Vacations and RailBookers. Now, Amtrak Vacations is the official tour operator for Amtrak. So not only do we provide the rail services with Amtrak Vacations, but also the hotel accommodations, the sightseeing tours. So most people, when they're traveling by rail, they're not just using it as a mode of transportation to get around some of the cities, but also they want to use it as part of the vacation experience when upgrading to those private sleeping accommodations on board the train, like a roomette or a bedroom, which we'll talk a bit more about today. But also Amtrak has over 30 plus different routes that travel around the United States. Some of them are very scenic and very popular on demand. And then also, of course, to our right is RailBookers. Now, RailBookers is an international brand, very similar to Amtrak Vacations when it comes to the rail, the hotel, sightseeing tours. We basically package it all together so that you guys can be able to have amazing rail vacation traveling across the globe. So we have destinations in North America, such as Canada and Alaska, but also Europe, Asia, Africa, and beyond. So as Europe is starting to open back up a little bit to American tourists, we are starting to see that demand to come back for European and other destinations as well. But right now, particularly, we're going to be talking about domestic travel within the United States with Amtrak Vacations, because that's what you're all wondering about today, right? So where can you travel to by train around the United States? Well, pretty much almost everywhere if you think about it. Amtrak actually covers over 48 of the 48 of the continental United States here. It just doesn't cover, of course, the areas of South Dakota or a little bit of Wyoming. So my apologies, my apologies. 46 of the 48 continental states. My apologies, I was off by 2 numbers there. 46 of the 48 continental states there. And as you can see, some of the most popular routes that we actually service with Amtrak Vacations, you'll see a lot in our packages, is going to be the Empire Builder, the California Zephyr, the Coast Starlight. But there's also other great rail journeys that sometimes people overlook, such as the Lakeshore Limited, growing over through the major Great Lakes there. You also have, of course, the Sunset Limited, traveling from Los Angeles all the way over to New Orleans. And there's so many great other routes to choose from as well. So everything from short getaway trips to long extended vacations, there's always something for everyone with Amtrak Vacations. And we are super excited to announce that Amtrak is celebrating its 50th anniversary. So please make sure you celebrate with us a wonderful journey on board the train and celebrate Amtrak's 50th anniversary, right? So Amtrak's been around since 1971 of May, and it's now celebrating its 50th year. And all of our rail vacation folks can be booked as early as today up to 2023. So again, very excited to be able to announce that we could book so far out in advance. So why do travelers love Amtrak Vacations? So I'm going to talk about these 5 distinct points why travelers such as yourselves love love Amtrak Vacations. So number one, of course, we are the rail experts. So we know these trains forwards and backwards, no pun intended, right? So we know these the trains and the best routes to take, and also the best time to make sure you have the best vacation. We could book up, we could basically book up any of our travels as early as tomorrow or today, I should say, to up till 2023. So we offer bucket list experiences that any way you want to be able to explore. Anywhere the train goes, so do we. Maximum flexibility. So any destination, any date, any length of time, simply put it, we take you wherever the train goes, wherever you want to go to. So if you want to visit the national parks, or maybe you want to visit those popular city getaways, or maybe you want to explore all around the United States with one of our coast to coast experiences. We offer a wide range of selection of rail vacations, from luxury journeys to multi-country journeys, extended rail vacations, or even pre or post river cruise options. Again, there's always something with Amtrak Vacations and or RailBookers. No rail trip is too complicated for us. That's the last point I want to share with you folks. So where some people think it's confusing, for us, it's not. It's very simple for us. And I'm a huge rail enthusiast, if you probably won't know already. I'm a huge rail enthusiast and I love trains. I grew up with Thomas the Tank Engine as a little boy, and now I've traveled on many great train routes, not just here domestically in the US, but internationally as well. I've been on Amtrak, I've been on the Vera Canadian, Rocky Mountaineer, I've been on the Venice Simplon Orient Express, you name it, I've been on multiple different trains. There's still stuff that I have on my bucket list that my wife and I are going to try to attend to this year, or hopefully in the years to come. So with all of our rail vacation packages, we can customize it based upon what you're looking for. So we can add on any destination, add on extra nights in that destination. We could make it round trip from your hometown. So if let's say you guys want to start your trip from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right, Nancy? If you want to start your trip from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and make it round trip from your hometown, not a problem. Or if you want to upgrade your rail tickets from coach seats to a roomette or a bedroom, we can definitely make that possible. Lastly, we can add on sightseeing tours or even upgrade it to those private tours. More so than ever, folks, private tours are very desirable. People don't want to be with other people right now. They want to be able to have that intimate attention with that guide. And that's why very much so more than ever, private guided tours are the most popular with us right here and right now. And speaking of national parks, some of our most popular national parks that people are booking right now for this year is Grand Canyon, Glacier National Park, which is the crown jewel of the National Park Service, Yellowstone, Yosemite, and so much more. And what's great about traveling with Amtrak Vacations is once you arrive off the train, you are in the openness of those U.S. national parks, in the wide open spaces, being able to breathe in that fresh alpine air, seeing those majestic mountain backdrops, those vast canyons, all of that by taking the train. It's a traditional way of experience, and it's all part of your vacation journey, right? So the first national park I want to talk about today is going to be Glacier National Park. And our Glacier National Park getaway is one of the most popular that is booking for this year. It's almost sold out for this year, so now people are even starting to book for 2022 as we're starting to see that in demand. Glacier National Park, folks, is actually, I don't know if any of you may know this, but it's actually considered as a peace park with our related brethren of Canada. So Canada actually has Waterton Lakes National Park. We got lucky at the end of the bargain where we got Glacier National Park. So Glacier National Park was created, of course, by the erosion of these amazing glaciers from millions and millions of years ago. And now people today travel and going to the Sun Road with these historic red jumper buses and see this majestic mountain backdrop. That's why they call it the crown jewel of the National Park Service. And I'm very pleased to announce, folks, that the red jumper buses, as you can see in this picture, they are going to be in full operation this year. So normally in these red jumper buses, you can fit about 17 passengers in each bus, and there's a total of 33 buses in existence. Right now, they're going to be actually only filling up to 50% capacity, again, to keep up with the guidelines of the CDC. So again, make sure that you guys do book ahead of time with that Glacier National Park getaway. This is a 4-day trip, and we can customize it to start from your hometown, or if you want to add on another destination, maybe you want to go from the East Coast over to the West Coast and visit Seattle or Portland, we can always add on that to your package. So this is a 4-day trip that starts at $899. What a great value, folks. This is a great value where you get to be able to do 3 nights hotel accommodations at Glacier National Park. You get the Big Sky Circle tour on those Red Jammer buses, which just for a moment, folks, I'm gonna go back to the Big Sky Circle tour. This is that on that historic Red Jammer buses, which again was originally developed by the White Motor Company back in the early 1900s, and they developed these historic buses to actually encourage people to travel within the park with a guided tour experience versus horseback riding or any other type of mode of transportation. And it still stands the test of time how how amazing these historic Red Jammer buses are. And the guides are hilarious. They are also very knowledgeable, and they literally have the best job in the park, in my personal opinion. Now, this bus tour is an 8-hour tour, but it'll pick you up at the Glacier Park Lodge and return you back to the Glacier Park Lodge. We also, of course, included in this package is our Two Medicine Valley boat cruise on the historic Cinepah, where you can travel across Two Medicine Valley Lake, and at the end of the lake there, what you can do as an option, it's a free guided tour experience that takes you over to Twin Eagle Falls. And then you can take the historic Cinepah cruise back over to the other side of the lake to get your transfer, take you back over to the lodge. You also have a dinner experience also included with your stay at Glacier National Park, which is included in this package. Now, folks, we'll be going from the Pacific Northwest down to the Southwest, right, of the United States. So we're going to talk about Grand Canyon National Park. And this is our Grand Canyon getaway round trip from Chicago. And this, of course, again, is a great opportunity for you to explore and visit Grand Canyon National Park by rail. So you'll travel from Chicago on the Southwest Chief down to Williams, Arizona, and you'll then board the famous Grand Canyon Railway train to take you up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon National Park. And what's great about taking the train into the park, folks, is that it actually is not only the scenic way to see the park, but it also helps reduce emissions in the park. So what most National Park Service members would suggest is actually to take the Grand Canyon Railway train in because it's safe, it's also reliable, it's also the most cleanest way to get into the park. So you're giving back a great way for you to give back to the park, right? And by the way, folks, at the end of the webinar, I'll make sure I schedule some time at the end to answer some questions in detail. So I do see some questions coming into the questions box. So don't worry, we will schedule some time at the end to answer those questions in detail. But now I want to talk about for a moment about some of the lodges that you can be able to stay when visiting Grand Canyon National Park, right? So Theodore Roosevelt, he himself visited Grand Canyon, and he was awe-inspired, and he was one of the most famous people that actually stayed at the El Tovar Lodge. So folks, this is the the flagship hotel that was built back in 1905 by the Fred Harvey Company. They were a subcontractor of the Santa Fe Railway, so any historic rail fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. But the El Tovar is a luxury hotel that situates itself right at the edge of the south rim of the Grand Canyon. It has this amazing backdrop view of the south rim there. And what most people do is they'll stay there with us for one night, and this is included in the package. However, some people want to stay more nights so they get more time at the national park. But this is one out of many hotels that we also service, such as the Kachina Lodge, the Bright Angel Lodge, the Yavapai Lodge, and so many great other options to choose from as well. But one of my favorite spots inside the El Tovar Lodge is actually the bar area. And a little helpful tip for you folks, if you do stay at the El Tovar or even just visit there for the day, highly recommend getting the prickly pear margarita. You'll thank me later on, okay? So make sure you order the prickly pear margarita at the El Tovar Hotel. And by the way, too, one other thing I want to mention about the El Tovar, it is right next to the South Rim Depot. So again, literally less than a 5-minute walk, or probably even less than that because it's so close by to the train station. So again, very convenient for passengers to get off the Grand Canyon Railway train and the staff actually taking your luggage from the train up to the El Tovar Hotel. So folks, this is our Grand Canyon Getaway Package round trip from Chicago. It is 6 days, and the starting price is $1,179 round trip from Chicago. What a deal. And this is where you can get 3 nights hotel accommodations, 2 nights in Williams, 1 night at the Grand Canyon. You also get round trip service on board the Grand Canyon Railway in coach class. However, I would suggest if you are, if it's room in the budget, I would recommend upgrading either to first class, or if you're traveling for a special occasion like an anniversary, a honeymoon, or birthday, even if it's a girls or guys trip, I do recommend upgrading to the Luxury Dome and the Luxury Parlor class. And the reason why is, of course, with the Luxury Dome and Luxury Parlor class, children under the age of 15 are not allowed in the carriage. So you don't like children, hey, I understand. So, sometimes people want that privacy, and that's fine. But it gets that more of that luxury ambiance. So the luxury dome class has a 360-degree dome car view experience, wonderful couchettes, and then in the luxury parlor class, which is the last car on the train that we just saw a few moments ago, where it has a beautiful view, observation viewing platform where you can get some amazing pictures and views as you're traveling through the different terrain from Williams to the South Rim. Also including this package is our Grand Canyon Freedom Tour, which takes you around the South Rim in about a 2.5-hour guided tour experience that will take you through the popular points of interest where you can get some great pictures and videos along the way. One thing that I was very pleased on that tour was not only the guides themselves of how knowledgeable they were, but we were able to actually get off at one of the one of the stops there, and I was able to see a live condor up close and personal. Got the perfect snapshot where its wingspan was over 20 feet long. So again, something that you may see while visiting the park. 2 meals are included with this experience, as well as the round trip accommodations in coach class on board the Southwest Chief. Now, folks, I want to talk about one of our multi-national park experiences. This is our grand national parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park. So if you're looking for a really, a lengthy multi-national park journey, this is a great option for that. It is round trip from Chicago. However, we can customize it to make it round trip from your hometown. But this one allows you to be able to visit Yellowstone National Park, which is our first and the world's first national park in the entire world. So again, we're very pleased to say that we got the first national park, folks, right? As Americans, we're very pleased to say that. And Yellowstone National Park is something that's out of this world. When most people come visit there, it's not like your normal national park like Yellowstone and Grand Canyon. It's definitely out of this world. So you see, these major vast lakes that have, that's literally sits themselves on a super volcano. You also have, of course, these amazing, pristine, water features such as Old Faithful, the fountain paint pot, non-paint pot. So much that can be found in Yellowstone National Park. But my favorite of this all is the actual amount of wildlife that can be found throughout the park, such as bison, gray wolves, bald eagles, moose, deer, elk. So many different species of wildlife can be found when visiting Yellowstone National Park. And then after time, you'll then head over on the California Zephyr route to San Francisco, and then we do a day trip to Yosemite National Park. So you get some time to explore Mariposa Grove, which is famous for the redwood trees. You'll visit El Capitan, Half Dome. You'll even visit Yosemite Valley and check out some of the lodges there, including the famous Ahwahnee Hotel. After time exploring Yosemite National Park, you'll then head up on the Coast Starlight train to Seattle, explore some of that the amazing Emerald City, and then travel on the Empire Builder to Glacier National Park, and that's where you'll stay at the Glacier Park Lodge with us for a 3-night stay. Now, folks, for those of you who may not know, the Glacier Park Lodge was built back in 1913 by the Great Northern Railway Company, and the reason why they designed it to kind of that Swiss chalet kind of a style is because they were so inspired by the amazing Rocky Mountains of Glacier National Park that they incorporated it as saying, hey, folks, as a marketing tactic, they were saying, hey, why not visit America's first versus trying to travel across by boat to Europe and then taking trains and all these different types of mode of transportation to see the Swiss Alps, see America's first. And that's what they designed. That's what they really marketed as, saying, hey, take the train by the Great Northern Railway to Glacier National Park and be able to see this amazing, amazing alpine scenery right here in your backyard. And Glacier Park Lodge just does that. And what's great is that it's less than 200 steps away from the East Glacier Station. Most passengers say, well, Tyler, I don't want to walk from the train station to the lodge. Is there a shuttle service? And the answer is yes. They have a free shuttle service that will pick you up right from the train station, take you directly over to the lodge. And my favorite part of the lodge itself is actually the Great Northern Dining Hall. That's where they offer farm-to-table meals. It is absolutely to die for. But one of my favorite dishes, and again, don't worry, I eat my meats and vegetables, but is the huckleberry pie. It is to die for, and I actually just moved up to northern Idaho. Love huckleberries. That's my new favorite fruit, right next to the strawberry. So definitely recommend that while you're there. And if you want a cocktail, get a huckleberry margarita. Absolutely good. So again, this is what the Great Northern Dining Hall looks like, folks, during the day. So you can have breakfast there right at the lodge and get to see Dancing Lady Mountain from the view of the Great Northern Dining Hall. Also on site, folks, there's one of the oldest historic golf courses in the entire state of Montana, found right at the Glacier Park Lodge. They even have horseback riding and even a heated pool. So if you want to bring your swimming trunks and have a nice little dip in the pool, go at it. So that's our Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park. It is 16 days starting at $4,549 and includes all that you see here: the sightseeing tour of Yellowstone's Lower Loop, dinner at the rooftop restaurant in Salt Lake City, sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park, the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of San Francisco, admission to the Space Needle and the observatory deck, Big Sky Circle tour of Glacier National Park, and the 2 Medicine Valley boat cruise in Glacier. Now, folks, for some of you who say, hey, Tyler, we want to take the train out west. Is that possible? Absolutely. And we have, of course, what's called our California Coast Package. This primarily focuses on the California coastline from San Francisco all the way down to San Diego, California. And I'm a native of California before I moved over to Idaho. But California, folks, has a rich history and culture. So you'll start off your trip with us in San Francisco, right in the famous Bay Area. You'll get to check out the city itself, such as Alcatraz, the Golden Gate Bridge, Chinatown, Ghirardelli Square, all of this, these famous spots and highlights that people want to explore while visiting San Francisco. And one of our most popular hotels to stay at is the Hotel Zypher. This is a great hotel that offers amazing views of the Bay Area, right at Fisherman's Wharf. And while you're staying in San Francisco, we do offer day trips to Yosemite National Park, right? So you can check out the famous hotspots of Yosemite, such as Mariposa Grove, El Capitan, you name it, right? We just talked about that a few moments ago. And then another day trip that we offer is a day tour to Napa Valley, where you get to be able to explore the famous winery region of California, Napa Valley. And what better way to see these amazing, fields of grapevines than the Napa Valley wine train. Folks, I've been fortunate enough to take this train experience, and my favorite area of the train is something that we could book well in advance. I highly suggest this is the vintage dome car. This is the great dome car that can be found on the train. And it definitely gives you more elevated experience where you get the 360-degree views surrounding the train. It is a little bit more, but I highly suggest that it's worth the while if you're traveling for a special occasion. So, and here's another little helpful tip. If you do upgrade to the Great Dome car, that is where you can actually get, no other passengers are able to get into the dome. It's only for reserved people that are in the dome car. So highly suggest that. And you get, of course, a 3-course lunch that's freshly cooked and prepared by Chef McDonald. He's amazing, and he always uses fresh California ingredients. And you will get, of course, a sparkling glass of wine as a starter, but any additional wines that you wish to try and sample or taste on board the train will be an additional cost. So just want to let you know on that. And then after time exploring the Bay Area, Napa Valley, and Yosemite, then you'll take the Coast Starlight train directly down to Los Angeles. And this is going to be during the day, but one of my favorite highlights of the Coast Starlight is when you leave San Luis Obispo and then, of course, before you arrive in Los Angeles. So between San Luis Obispo and Los Angeles is one of the most scenic parts of the journey, in my opinion, because you get to be mirroring California's Highway 1 and seeing this amazing coastline and seeing the state beaches such as Goleta, El Capitan, and many great others along the way. By the way, maybe a helpful tip: if you do upgrade to a roomette, at least I would highly suggest, even though it's during the day, upgrade to the roomette. And if you do purchase a bottle of wine in Napa Valley, why not have a nice little wine and cheese tasting in your roomette? That's what my wife and I did. It was pleasant, and I'm so thankful I was able to do that. And then after your time exploring Los Angeles and seeing this amazing city of Hollywood, you'll then take the Pacific Surfliner train down to San Diego, which is another great train journey that travels on the California beaches there. And then before you know it, you'll arrive into the amazing city of San Diego, famous for the zoo, SeaWorld, Balboa Bay Park. And by the way, another helpful tip, I would suggest if you take some time, go down to Old Town and check out Cafe Coyote. Write that down, Cafe Coyote. That is, it's the famous restaurant located in the old town of San Diego, and it offers amazing Mexican cuisine. My wife and I have gone there several times. Highly suggest it, and make sure you get the margarita there, the Cadillac margarita. Very good. So this is the California package. It is 9 days, starting at $2,119. It includes all that you see here: the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of San Francisco, sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park, and also Sonoma and Napa Valley. We also have the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Los Angeles and a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour in San Diego. Now, folks, we're going to be taking ourselves from the West Coast all the way over now to the East Coast, and we're going to check out Niagara Falls, right? This amazing seventh wonder of the world, Niagara Falls, and the New York side. So right now, as of currently, the Canadian side is still closed to American tourists. However, we are starting to see an increase in operation of hoping to open up these borders here in the next few months to tell. So hopefully we see that in the near future. But right now, as of currently, Niagara Falls is still a very popular destination, and people can still visit on the New York side with our Niagara Falls New York Getaway package. This is a 3-day, 2-night journey, and again, we can start from any of the 500 plus stations that Amtrak services, again, making a round trip from your hometown. But included in this package is the 2 nights hotel accommodations in Niagara Falls, New York, and also the Maid of the Mist boat ride tour. However, if you see here, folks, in the bottom of the screen, there is a substitute during the off season from November to April. Highly suggest traveling from June to the end of October is a really good time to see Niagara Falls, especially, I would say, from June to September, very good time of season. We also have other East Coast destinations, folks, such as our New England Fall Foliage package. This is a great option, folks, because people are so used to taking a New England cruise, right, going up through Eastern Canada and seeing the fall foliage there. Right now, again, cruises aren't operating through the eastern part of Canada. What's the alternative? Taking a land cruise by train and seeing this amazing beauty right in the heart of our own backyards. The New England Fall Foliage package does start in Boston, so you get to be able to see these amazing leaves changing color. You also get to explore the city itself, as well as historic references dated back to the pre-Revolutionary War, when you get to check out Lexington, Concord, learn about Paul Revere's ride. And then after time exploring Boston, you'll then take the down Easter train up to Portland. Portland, very famous for the sea life culture there, right? Where you get to be able to see literally a New England, clam chowder. You get to be able to experience the New England kind of setting while you're there. And you also get to check out some of the famous lighthouses, as well as the Bay Area around the region of Portland. So that's our New England Fall Foliage package, folks. It is 6 days, starting at $1,119. Includes hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Boston, sightseeing tour of Cambridge, Lexington, and Concord, as well as a New England Fall Foliage tour, again, to explore the leaves, the historic churches, all of that while visiting the area of Boston. And then lastly, of course, a sightseeing tour of Portland, Maine. And as a reminder, folks, for those of you who may join us a little bit later, why book now? I want to talk about our maximum flexibility offer for just a moment. So our maximum flexibility offers allows you folks to book with confidence. So if you need to change your travel dates or even postpone your trip, you could do so up until 5 days prior to departure, folks. You heard me, 5 days prior to departure without incurring any change or cancellation fee. But this offer is valid between now and June 30th of this year. So make sure you take advantage of it while it's available. All you got to do is just give us a call today at 1-800-268-7252, and any of our Amtrak vacation specialists will be more than happy to start planning your next dream vacation, as well as explain more detail of our maximum flexibility offer. But now I want to talk about, for the remaining part of our virtual train journey, folks, is what is life like on board the trains themselves. So first of all, packing for the train. Most people have no idea what it's like to pack for the train. So each person is able to bring on 2 free carry-on bags under 25 pounds per bag, as well as 2 free checked bags under 50 pounds per bag. What airline can offer that, folks? Think about it. What airline can offer you this amount of luggage to transport on a plane, right? Most people, they go to the airport, they only have a small carry-on, they just pray that it meets the requirements or it's not under a certain weight limit. Then they have to go through the security checks, and then they have to wait for their plane to board. Then you have to, go in a straight line to board for your plane, and then you have to try to find space in the main cabin to store your luggage. Folks, it's not like that at all. Traveling by train is a leisurely and an enjoyable experience. Luggage can be checked in 45 minutes prior to departure. Again, not a couple hours before, like an airplane. 45 minutes is the latest you can check in your luggage. So what is it like traveling on board a train? So there's several different accommodations on board the train, such as the first one we'll talk about is coach class. Now, in many of our packages, coach class is what's included in our packages. However, of course, we'll talk about in a moment what it's like to upgrade to those private sleeping accommodations. So in coach class, it's, again, a very comfortable seating that is 2x2 seating configuration, comfortable seats that do fold down to a 45-degree angle, nice footrest. You also have, of course, a fold-out table there, so if you want to watch a show on your iPad, do some work on your laptop, or even enjoy a snack or a meal at your seat, you could definitely do that. You also have a large picturesque window to enjoy those vistas and views throughout on the train. You also have, of course, air conditioning, power outlets, reading lights. So if you want to read a book, you could do so. And look at this, extra space for your luggage. No longer do you have to try to cram your luggage in those main cabins, right? Compartments all right here. You also have access to the observation dome car as well as the cafe car where you can purchase snacks and beverages and meals in the cafe car. But right now, though, folks, more than ever, people are upgrading to those private sleeping accommodations, either that be a roomette or a bedroom, or even if you're traveling as a family, you also have a family bedroom option or an accessible bedroom for those who need additional assistance. So number one, when you do upgrade to a private sleeping accommodation on board the train, you do get priority boarding. Folks, please don't take this the wrong way. When I travel on a plane, I usually like to upgrade to first class or at least premium economy if available, because I don't like boarding with everyone else. I like separate boarding. It's just my own personal opinion. I don't like my space being invaded. Some other passengers feel the same way I do. So getting that priority boarding is a nice amenity to have when traveling or upgrading to the private sleeping accommodations. Also, the privacy of your own door. You don't have to worry about other noises, people talking, or if you're trying to watch a show or whatever, you're trying to disturb another person, you don't have to worry about that. When you are in your own private sleeping accommodation, you close that door, remove your mask, and enjoy the journey. Here's a little downgrade, though, with the coach class. With the coach class, you are required to wear your mask at all times, even when sleeping at night. So if that is going to be a concern, make sure you upgrade to the private sleeping accommodation for, again, depending what that value is to you. When you are also when you upgrade to a private sleeping accommodation, you have your own dedicated car attendant that's there to serve you from the moment you board the train to the moment you depart. Their main job is to make sure that you are provided for and having a safe and enjoyable journey. So they make sure that you take care of yourselves. They also take care of turn down service. So when you're already go to sleep, just of course click the button on there for the the car attendant, and they'll take care of your turn down service for you. They make sure your room is kept clean and tidy. They'll take care of toiletries, bottled water service, coffee service, everything you need to make sure you have a relaxing time on board the train. And the first accommodation I want to talk about today is the roomettes. Now, the roomette is the most economical option. It is, of course, 2 seats facing one another during the day, and it falls into a bunk bed style configuration for 2 at night. Large picturesque windows to enjoy those vistas and views on the train. Door that closes locked from the inside, fold out table. You also have reading lights, power outlets, and also a mini closet to hang up some clothes if you need to. And then the private restroom and shower facilities are in the car. But this is what it looks like, as you can see here, folks, when it's transferred to that lower berth at night. Again, very comfortable, very spacious. And it does fit up to 2 adults. However, I have seen where passengers travel as a solo option in the roomette. You can fit to 1, maybe 2 small carry-on bags in your roomette. However, there are, of course, areas where you can store your carry-on bag in the sleeper car. Also, again, as I mentioned, private restroom and shower facilities are in the car that you can be able to use, and this is what the room dimensions look like during the in that car. That compartment. It's 6 feet 6 inches by 6 feet 8 inches, and the room width is 3 feet 6 inches. But for those of you who need more space or want to be able to have their own private bathroom and shower included in their cabin, we do highly suggest upgrading to the bedroom. Now, the bedroom, of course, is the largest cabin accommodation on board the train. It is a couchette with a nice captain's chair during the day, and it falls into a bunk bed style configuration for 2 at night. Again, very spacious and very comfortable here. As you can see, people are able to enjoy their journey on board with plenty of space to roam around in their cabin. And they also do have their own dedicated car attendant that's there to serve them on the train as well. And in it, in their private cabin, they have their own private bathroom and shower, as well as vanity. So if they need to do some shaving, put on makeup, it's all, they have that there for them. Does sleep up to 2 adults. However, I have seen people travel as a sole option in a bedroom. It fits about 1 to 2 small suitcases in your room. And also the dimensions here are 7 feet 1 inches by 7 feet 6 inches, 6 feet 6 inches by 6 feet 8 inches in width. Now, again, as I mentioned before, for those people that do need additional assistance on the train, there is what's called an accessible bedroom. It is on the lower level of the Superliner carriage there, and it is first come, first serve. So if you do have additional assistance, such as a wheelchair or a scooter, and you cannot climb to the second floor, please let our Amtrak Vacation consultants know. That way we can make sure we can book that ahead of time for you. And there's normally only 1 per carriage, folks, 1 per carriage, and normally a total about 3 or 4, depending on seasonality on the train. So these do book up quite quickly. So make sure that you do reach out to us well in advance. Very similar to the regular bedroom, except it's more ADA compliant and it has its own ADA accessible bathroom and shower. The last thing I'll talk about, folks, for those who do upgrade to that private sleeping accommodation, your meals are included, both breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And right now, more than ever, they are offering what's called as flexible dining, where your meals can either be brought to you in your private sleeper, or you can have your meals brought to you in the dining car. If you wish to sit in the dining car, you will need to make a reservation ahead of time with your cabin steward. But right now, more than ever, people are doing having their meals in their private sleeper accommodation. Now, folks, of course, we're almost at the end of the line. I want to let you know that our upcoming webinars, Tuesday, June 1st, we're talking about Grand Canyon and Glacier National Park. Tuesday, June 8th, we'll be discussing private sleeping accommodations on board Amtrak. As a reminder, also, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. This is, again, a great way for you to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Amtrak, so help us commemorate a special trip for you to celebrate the 50th anniversary on board Amtrak. And I have one last question for you all today. What destinations are you considering for your next vacation? So if you don't mind sharing with me in the questionnaire box, what destinations are you considering for your next vacation? I would love to know, either maybe for this year or for next year. It may be a destination we featured on today's presentation, or maybe it was a destination that wasn't featured. Please let us know. We would love to, of course, help plan that for you for your next dream vacation. Oh, thank you so much, Irene. San Diego, Great Kitty, Grand Canyon, Janice, Glacier National Park, Carolyn Weinberger, Hawaii. Okay, great. Nancy, see, you got also another Glacier. Please also, folks, if you don't mind sharing with me when you're looking to travel as well, I would greatly appreciate it, either for this year or possibly for next year, 2022. We would love to help out that for you as well. Fall Foliage, thank you so much, Pamela. Great. 2022 for Grand Canyon for Kitty. Thank you. East Coast Fall Foliage, Deborah. Wonderful. Great, great, great. Keep them coming, folks. I'd love to know which destinations you're thinking about for either this year or possibly for next year. So if you don't mind sharing the questions box, I would greatly appreciate it. So as you continue to pour in your responses, I just wanted to take this time to answer some questions in detail. But as you see on the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, please feel free to reach out to us today at 1-800-268-7252. Any of our Amtrak vacation consultants will be happy to help plan the perfect dream vacation for you. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as make sure if you do use a local travel advisor, make sure you do reach out to them also, so that way we can help plan the next dream vacation for you as well. And you also can check us out on our website at www.amtrakvacations.com. All right, folks, I'm going to take this time to answer some questions in detail for you all. So I'm just taking a quick sip here of my water. Hold on a moment. All right. Let's see here. Let's go up here. The first question that came up in the beginning of the presentation, which was, what are the green lines on the train travel map? How are they different from the red lines? That's a great question, Lore Hein. So what those green lines are is actually the throughway bus connection. So when you see a green line on that map, that's the Amtrak throughway bus connections that you could see and that they do service as well. The red lines indicate the train, the green lines indicate the throughway buses. So great question. Janice Nash asked, what is the best time of day to go on the Two Medicine Valley Lake Tour in Glacier National Park? That is a very great question, Janice. Sometimes it depends upon your preference. If you're an early morning riser, definitely do. We have an 8 o'clock option, and then we also have a 1 o'clock option available. If you are an early riser and you're okay with getting up in the morning, I do suggest getting up 8 o'clock right before the rest of the tourists get on. If you are a late sleeper, such like myself, I would do the 1 o'clock option, but be aware, of course, if you're traveling during some of the summer, it can get a little bit warmer as you go later in the day. So if you can get it in the morning, highly suggest it. Great question. Laura Hine asked another question. You mentioned bottled water. Is Amtrak considered providing passengers who don't bring their own with an option to purchase a refillable container and provide filtered water refills instead of contributing to climate catastrophe by generating more single or use plastic throw containers? That's a great question, Laura. Right now, currently they're offering bottled waters. However, of course, these are recyclable bottles. Amtrak does a great job of actually making sure that they do care about the environment. That's actually one of the awards they've been recognized very so often, is actually continuing to be green, as well as not only green way of emissions for gas, but also continuing reusable, recyclable material on board the train. So great question. Let's see here. All right, Nancy Nelson asked, how many showers are in the roomette cars? That's a great question. So I believe there's one on the lower level and one on the top level. So there are 2 showers, and they are, of course, used by other roomette passengers. So just be aware of that. So it is shared shower facilities. However, of course, again, I've traveled on a roomette several times with my wife. I have no problem using the shower facilities, and Amtrak is doing a great job of making sure that each time it is used, it's been kept clean and sanitized for the next person to use. So great question. Lenore Dudzik asked, if on a road trip, can Glacier National Park Getaway be booked without the train? If so, when do the tour close for the season? That's a great question, Lenore. So to answer your question, yes, we do offer our Glacier National Park Getaway without the train. So that's going to be with Yankee Holidays. So Yankee Holidays is going to be the provider you're going to want to use through us. That's one of our other brands. You can also call Amtrak Vacations as well if you wish, so that we don't have to have the train component in there. But the Glacier National Park season with us for the Glacier National Park Getaway is from June till mid-September for the year. So it's a short time window to visit Glacier National Park. So if you are planning to do a road trip this year, make sure you reach out to us well in advance to book the stays at the Glacier Park Lodge. Great question. All right. Nancy Nelson asked another question, how many bathrooms are in coach class? That's a great question. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe there are 5 bathrooms on the lower level and 2 bathrooms up top. So they are, of course, those bathrooms are serviced in the coach class carriages. Great question. Laura Hine asked, can we get a copy of that map that shows the entire system with the 3 buses? Thanks for clearing that up. No problem, Laura. Yes, absolutely. You can actually go to our website at www.amtrakvacations.com, and you can actually go to our to that website and download the map through there. There is a section where you can download that map, or you can also go through the search tab and type out map, and it will produce a result where you can download that online. Great question. All right, folks, if you have any other questions, please feel free to type them out in the questionnaire box. I would love to answer any other questions you may have today. If not, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Any of our Amtrak vacation consultants will be happy to help plan the next dream vacation for you. So let's see. Nancy Nelson asked, coach class, what is the difference between the upper and lower? That's a great question. So the upper section is going to be where you can be able to, so you are on the upper level of the Superliner carriage, and then the lower level section, that's mainly for people that have difficulty walking up to the second level. So if you, the lower level is usually reserved for people that need additional assistance. So normally that's where the lower is reserved. However, of course, if the upper level is sold out, because that's where usually mainly people want to sit out in the coach class up there on the second on the top level, so they get better views on the train versus the lower level. That's mainly the big differences. But if the upper level is sold out, then of course we would put them in the lower level if that's what's left available. But great question. All right, folks. I will take one more question right now, and then, of course, I will have to end today's webinar. If your question has not been answered, please feel free to reach out to us today at 1-800-268-7252, and any of our Amtrak Vacation staff will be happy to answer any questions for you. Let's see here. Philip Major asked, as most of the trips start in Chicago, how would you take someone from Tampa, Florida? That's a great question, Philip. So we can customize our packages to start from your hometown. So if you are looking to say, for example, just do one of our packages that start from Chicago, going out west like the national parks, you would actually take you from Tampa, take you on one of the Silver Service trains up to Washington, D.C., switching trains in DC to go over to Chicago. So that is one way you can do it by taking the train without having to fly. We would just add that to your package. If you wish to not do that, you could fly to Chicago. That is an alternative. However, we don't book airfare. But if you are flexible and wanting to start from Tampa, we can, of course, arrange the package to start from your hometown. Great question. All right, folks, I just want to say thank you so much for attending today's webinar. This is the end of the line, and I hope all of you have a wonderful and train-tastic day. I hope to see some of you on the rails in the near future, but I hope to also see some of you celebrating our 50th anniversary with Amtrak Vacations for the 50th anniversary year. So take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.